Hey guys and ghouls, this is John Johnson.
And I am Matthew Ewald.
And welcome to Fright Night. Alright guys, welcome to our first ever show. This is our episode 0. What we're planning on doing is a deep dive into certain franchises where we kind of devour everything that involves that franchise or that title of work. I'm here with Matthew Ewald.
Hello, hello.
Matthew is going to be taking these rides with me. We're calling the show Fright Night because our first subject is the Fright Night franchise. As in, what are some of the things we're going to be talking about?
Well, we're going to, like John said, we're going to do a deep dive. So it is everything Fright Night related that we can get our hands on. We're going to obviously start with the movie, the sequel. We're going to go into the entire comic book run. We have every issue, the annuals, we have all of that. So we'll be, each of our episodes will detail a single issue and we'll go into detail on all of that. And then we'll go into the sequels, the remake sequels. We'll go into the video games, making ofs, special features. I mean, we're going to go as deep as we can into everything Fright Night.
And if we miss anything, and as we're going along, if you guys can think of anything that we haven't reviewed, just let us know, and we'll add it to the curriculum. What is something that what are you looking forward to in doing this? Like, what interests you in it?
Honestly, I think, I love Fright Night. I have a deep appreciation for it. It means a lot to me, not just from my childhood, but, as an adult. And I think just to come back to it and watch everything and read as much as I can, again, will be incredible. But also to learn new things. There's so much more than I even knew was out there. There's documentaries that I have not watched, and so to really, the comic books, when I first kind of looked into them, it went in a direction that I was not prepared for. So I'm really anxious to kind of go farther into that and see where that journey takes us, and I'm really anxious to kind of re-experience the love I have for Fright Night and see how it affects me now from start to finish.
Yeah, for me, I was telling Matthew as we were setting up for our first episode that I haven't collected anything in a long time, and this is definitely an excuse to collect all these new editions of the movie. I've recently learned that there's a 4K UK drop that has tons of extra features and like convention panels and all kinds of stuff, and it turns out to be region free, so I can order it and have that.
Well, and the other cool thing is that as we progress, as we go through everything, we might decide to continue it further and take it even farther into what the people who have loved Fright Night and what they've created on their own, from art to possibly like their own fiction or their own ideas of where it went after that. So I think the great thing is that there's so much out there, and like you said, the 4K. I'm very anxious to see where that is. I'm anxious to we briefly saw a clip of the video game.
Yeah, so I didn't know that was a thing.
We were talking about that earlier, and we're like, John had said, I wonder if there's a video game. And I'm like, I don't. Yeah. Like, for what? Like, I don't know. I would have been surprised that I hadn't seen it.
Unless it was just an animation.
Possibly, but or maybe somebody had done it for like a Kickstarter or something like that. But I'm anxious to see that because wouldn't that be something incredible just from a fan's point of view? So it's gonna be a journey.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited about all the things, and also before, the reason why I even thought of doing this kind of show to begin with is I didn't realize how much Fright Night had. Like, I knew the movie and the sequel, and the sequel or the remake and the sequel to the remake. I knew those, but I didn't know the comic books. I was unaware of. I thought there was a one-shotter as a kid, they just do one horror comic for the movie and that's it. But this has a whole fucking like 23 issue run and annuals and a 3D comic and.
Well, I remember. So I'm a huge fan of the Tomb of Dracula comics from back in the day. And I have that. I mean, that's like 70 issues and all the annuals. And I've been fortunate over the years. I've collected that entire run, like the first appearance of Blade and in issue number 10. And I've been a huge fan of those comics. And it was by happenstance. I was at many years ago when I was with my parents at a flea market in Minnesota. I saw the first Fright Night issue. And so I knew that there was that, but it was only in the last few years that I found out that there was this run of it and that it went beyond the film. And so in looking at that, it's kind of, one little search on eBay, one Google search, it kind of shows you that there's even more than that is out there. And I think, with the anniversaries now and how much time has passed, there's always so much more that's going to be released. So, I mean, I think with the wealth of information and just restoration and everything that's out there, I mean, there is so much out there now to actually experience.
I also need to take this moment to give a shout out to Chef Scott, because it was Scott's idea for me to do, because he saw I was reading the comics, that Matthew actually got me the comic book set for Christmas. But he saw that I was reading and he's like, I would like to hear you talk about that with like a buddy. And I was just like, oh, great idea.
No kidding.
And so here we are. So Scott, thank you for doing this. And we hope that you enjoy the show. I will be tagging you immediately at this release earlier or later today. We're going to try to do it monthly, one a month. Or are we doing bi-weekly? No, is it every 2 weeks or every once a month?
I think the original idea was once a month.
Once a month?
I mean, if you want to do it twice
we can figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
So we definitely one a month. Maybe we'll try when we're not as busy between the two of us, we'll try to do 2 a month. But if with guaranteed one.
Go back and forth.
Yeah.
Some months we can do 2, or we can do 1.
Exactly. Yeah. We'll it depends on what our schedules are like, but guaranteed one a month.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the basic plan for it. Now we're going to start with the first feature, 85. There's been some debate, and maybe you guys can chime in on this. So there is a Francis Ford Coppola film from 1963 called Dementia 13, but also called Fright Night. And on Amazon, the poster looks like they made it look like a Fright Night poster, like a vampire, modern vampire woman and a guy with an axe, which resembles more the remake than that. But do we watch that? There's also a movie called Night Fright that was from the 70s or 60s or 70s that's about like a gorilla, but it's called Night Fright. So I'm curious if we watch those things, if they would did Tom Holland when he made Fright Night take anything from that, or was there an influence, but we don't know. We're not 100% sure we should go into those or not.
Yeah, like I told John, he and I could sit down and watch Francis Ford Coppola's, because I guess it would be interesting to watch just on the basis that it's Francis Ford Coppola.
And Fright Night. And Public Domain.
Right. Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. But it would be cool to sit down, and then if it has some type of relation to Fright Night, then we can discuss it. But, if it's in name only, then is it worth discussing
was
on
it
the
worth
show?
Bringing on the show or not?
Because, if we're deep diving into all things Fright Night, where does that line? So you help us out with that. If you think that we should discuss everything Fright Night related, even if it is in name only, then we'd love to hear your thoughts.
All right. Well, that's where we are. That's the end of our first show. The next episode will be sometime in February 2019. That's where we are, right?
We're somewhere.
Yeah. So we're gonna, and that will be discussing the first feature. Probably a 4K version because I'm gonna order it tonight. Thanks for listening, guys. This has been John Johnson.
And I have been Matthew Ewald.
And you have been listening to Fright Night.
For real.